9:32, just a couple of minutes late here, but wanted to hop on for the afternoon coffee talk. The radar is getting more and more active, just as we had expected. Here is a live look at our first warning live Doppler radar. Wider perspective showing those storms little by little lifting more and more into the metro area. As a matter of fact, let's just take you in a little closer to the metro, and you can see the bottom left corner of your screen as those storms are marching into town. Let's zoom in even more to the tourist district where the Four Corners up through Groveland. We are watching these storms marching in, and while they're not severe, I'm going to be honest with you and tell you they are just on the periphery of being severe. So what I want to do is switch over from the loop to a live look at our first warning Doppler radar. And what I've done is I've kind of just cut through, I've turned off the lightning, but I want to just inspect things just a little bit here to show you what we're looking at. And from the Four Corners up through Orange Mountain, of course, Claremont, Groveland, watching the very heavy rainfall. But let's take a step in on radar. This is our first warnings live Doppler radar, and I want to take a look at our velocity channel. And you see those brighter colors there right around the Walt Disney Complex? I'm going to bring it full screen for you just so that we can inspect the radar as best we can here. But you can very clearly see there, right along the Four Corners, the Space Coast Parkway getting up toward Herzog Road, 545. You see those brighter green shades right in here? If I were to click on that using our Doppler radar, we're finding winds there running 54 to 55 miles an hour. It is sub-severe, meaning it's not quite to severe criteria. But let me tell you something, that is very, very heavy rainfall, and it will be lifting to the north up toward Windermere, Bay Hill, Gotha. You can see very clearly Ocoee up toward, say, Winter Garden, Oakland, Lockhart, Lake Apopka, our neighborhoods there. So you see these arrows. What those arrows are, that's the Doppler radar saying this is the direction it's going. And if you click on the arrow, it actually gives you storm information. So this is saying that this cell here has about an 80% chance of half-inch diameter hail. So it certainly is a possibility of some significant hail. Here's a look at some of the arrival times, too. Killarney by about 3:47. Oakland, 3:49, Montverde at 3:55, Ferndale, 3:59, and Fuller's at 4:03. And, of course, that's just that one cell. You come down here, and around Lake Buena Vista, I've got to say, this cell here is trying to get even more intense. Look at the pocket of very heavy rain right along World Drive. This is in the heart of the tourist district, watching this rainfall, working right up toward Dr. Phillips and, say, the Tangelo Park, Holden Heights, Williamsburg area. So we're getting up from Disney towards SeaWorld. If we were to just turn on the lightning strikes just for a moment, okay, you could see there's a lot of lightning in just this one area here as the lightning strikes are flashing. So I want to make sure you're aware of that. Bottom left corner, I also want to highlight all of those heavy downpours that are kind of continuing to lift into our area. It's going to be an active setup. Let's take a moment and let's just widen the perspective out, okay? What I want to do is I want to show you the entire Florida map. And you can see all of that moisture just lifting up from South Florida. There's this kind of tongue of tropical moisture in play. And that tropical moisture is absolutely going to make its impact known. We're going to be watching a particularly stormy pattern here over the course of the afternoon. I don't want to just focus, though, on the tourist district because there are other storms that are showing up around Bushnell and Webster that I want to make sure to get to. So back to our first warning live Doppler radar, and let's take you to those radar cells there in kind of that Sumter County corridor. Claremont, you know that it's about to start storming for you, but let's zoom in here around Center Hill and Webster. You can see plenty of lightning embedded in that storm. We switch over to our live radar. Let me turn off the lightning strikes just because we don't need them when we're tracking velocity data on the radar. 22 mile per hour winds, and there may even be a little hint at some subtle rotation in here. Let me just switch over and look at the velocity channel coming out of Tampa radar. Yeah, there's some decent winds, but I'm thankfully not seeing any kind of rotation. Yeah. Okay, so that's good. All right, so back to our first warning live Doppler radar, and you can see that very heavy cell there. Claremont, it may not be bad now, but you can definitely see those clouds off in the distance as this thunderstorm complex marches your direction. Let's look at our wind velocity. Kind of seeing just a little bit. Yeah, not much, thankfully. Let's look at the rotation tracker. Thankfully, not much. Let's look at the hail tracker, though. Okay, interestingly enough, not much. Okay, good. Glad to see that. But very, very, very heavy rainfall lifting up toward the north. The metro, you can see downtown Orlando, nice and quiet for now, but plenty of nasty weather continuing to just kind of lift up to the north. Sumterville, Coleman, we're getting up toward Wildwood shortly, Astatoula, Leesburg. Eventually, the villages, we're all eventually, frankly, going to be getting into these storms. So that's something we're all going to have to deal with. Let me just kind of show you the loop on Central Florida here. At least the metro area, just to give you an idea. And you can see those storms lifting up to the north more and more. We've not been seeing much in the way of heating because we've had a lot of cloud cover this afternoon, right? Here's a look at temperatures across Central Florida. And of course, we've been sharing those across the bottom of the screen through the broadcast here. 80 degrees in Orlando, Daytona Beach sitting at 86, 84 degrees in Ocala. And you can see down around Winter Haven and Kissimmee, the lighter shade, that yellow shade, that's because, of course, the rain's cooling you down just a little bit. So what does our evening look like? Let's talk about it, okay? We are declaring this evening an impact evening. We're declaring tomorrow, frankly, impact weather as well. What does that mean? That means that there is a low-level threat for strong to severe storms. That means that weather very well may be impacting you. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock showers, yes, and thunder showers are going to be around. Deanne's asking, how long is it going to last? Frankly, we're talking about much of the weekend being kind of impact weather. So that's not the greatest thing, certainly, in the world, but it is something we want to make sure you know about, okay? Any rain coming to Daytona Dawn? Absolutely. All of this moisture is lifting your direction. Let me pop up the live first warning Doppler radar, and you can see all of that rain lifting in your direction. Chuck says, this amateur is calling it the start of the wet season. What say you? I would say that this is a whole lot of tropical moisture marching in our direction, helping to start up the wet season. Yeah. So here's the severe threat map for today. Notice the kind of darker greens. That puts Central Florida under a level 1 threat for strong to severe storms for today. What about for tomorrow? Same idea. Level 1 threat for strong to severe storms. There's a lot of moisture in play. Look at the visible satellite. And I'm just going to lapse this over the last few minutes time, and you can kind of see here all of that convective cloudiness. Yeah, all of that convective cloudiness, all of those showers and those thunder showers aiding in the development of these showers and thunder showers. All in the development of these nastier storms. So we know for a fact that we're talking about some nasty storms this afternoon. But what about through the weekend? Let's talk about that weekend forecast, okay? We're going with an ample opportunity for rainfall today. Yes, indeed, we are, right? 80% chance of rain. 80% chance of rain for today, okay? Let me get that box out of the way for you. An 80% chance of rain for tomorrow, 60% coverage of rain for Sunday and Monday, and kind of leveling off into that more normal shower and thunderstorm regime for your Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. All right? This weekend, the entire weekend, is impact weather. All right? The entire weekend is impact weather where we're talking about the threat for strong to severe storms. The associate pup producer has something to tell me. I know, right? I know. Do you think any windows to get to the beach at all tomorrow? There's an 80% chance of rain. It doesn't look good. Yeah. Tan's asking, yes, what about tomorrow morning when I'm going to MegaCon? It's probably going to rain. Yeah, it's probably going to rain. I wish I had better news for you, but it's probably going to rain. Yeah, let's come back over, by the way, while we're chatting, let's come back over to our tourist district live Doppler radar. And you can see those storms marching up to the north there. Lots and lots of lightning. Lake County, my friends here, you're going to be getting plenty of these storms as all of this moisture continues to lift to the north. I want to make sure that everybody is aware of it, okay? For now, we are not talking about severe weather. These storms, though, especially these storms marching up into Lake County, these storms are just sub-severe. They are just below severe criteria. We found winds on our Doppler radar. And as a matter of fact, let's go back to that. Before we wrap up Coffee Talk, let me stop this. Before we wrap up Coffee Talk, I want to come back over to our first warning live Doppler radar. Right along the 429 here. Oh, I guess I need to show it to you, don't I? I've got too many sources here. There we go. All right. So there's a live look at our first warning Doppler radar. Of course, these brighter green shades, that's the gustier winds. Thankfully, we're not seeing reds and greens together. That would be an indicator for rotation. We're not seeing that. But look at some of these wind barbs, 34, 44 miles per hour. 37, 41. So sub-severe, which I certainly like to see, but nevertheless, very, very heavy rainfall for you. Harlem Heights, Oakland, getting up toward Montverde, Ferndale, getting up to Lake Apopka. And if you've lived here long enough, you know Lake Apopka just has this way about it of creating nastier storms, getting perhaps some rotation, though thankfully I'm not seeing any of that on our radar. Let me switch to the Orlando terminal radar. Yeah, not seeing any of that. All right, so just some nice heavy rains. That's all going to continue for us these next couple of hours. I'll tell you what, I'm going to be making sure to track these storms for you through the afternoon and through the evening, okay? I will be keeping very close eye. There's a look at the radar as a whole across Central Florida, and you would see those storms lifting to the north as is needed. If it gets to be too strong, I will pop on and I will let you know about it, okay? All right, but for now, we're watching the radar. We're watching a stormy weekend forecast. What about the timing of the rains? Meteorologist Cam Tran starts off live team coverage at 4 o'clock on WESH 2 News. And then, of course, Chief Meteorologist Tony Manolfi picks up the baton at 5 and will carry you through. It's going to be stormy. We're going to be tracking it. We're going to be keeping you up to date, all right? Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so much for hanging out for Coffee Talk. We'll see you tomorrow morning starting at 5 a.m. tracking more storms for your weekend forecast. Bye, guys.